The Golden Tee, television's 90-minute book of golf, brought to life by many of the world's leading golfers and starring in alphabetical order: George Bayer, Tommy Bolt, Julius Boros, Billy Casper, Mac Hunter, Gene Littler, Lloyd Mangrum, Bob Rosberg, Mike Suchak, Miss Mickey Wright, and special guest star Byron Nelson. Golfers of the world, this is your Golden Tee. They nicknamed him Mr. Cash and Carry. When the big money was on the table, the pros feared Lloyd Mangrum as much as any man who ever lived. Now, even the pros can't wait to get off that first tee and have it behind them. But with Lloyd Mangrum, the show started then and there. So here to get us started on the road to a lower handicap is one of golf's all-timers, Lloyd Mangrum.
Hitting a ball perfectly straight is as difficult for the pros as it is for the weekend golfer. Ordinarily, the pros prefer to draw or fade the ball just a little bit for control. The draw shot can be described as a modified hook. You start the ball just slightly to the right and draw it into the target. In playing the draw shot, the stance is square or slightly closed. A full hip and shoulder turn places the hands, arm, and shoulders well back at the top of the backswing. From this position, and only from this position, can the downward swing attain the speed, power, and ease of movement so necessary to draw the ball. The hands working together provide the final key to success of the shot, closing the club face just enough to impart a right to left spin on the ball. The draw shot will give you more distance than the fade because the ball normally rolls much farther and is particularly effective when shooting into the wind. Most of the pros think that a fade is the safety shot in golf. A fade is just a small modified slice. A faded ball doesn't roll as much as a draw shot. Therefore, a golfer has a better chance of putting it in good position for his next shot. The fade is obviously the opposite of the draw. The ball starts slightly to the left of the target and fades back on line as it drops. The stance is square or slightly open. The shoulder turn is not as pronounced as it is in the draw shot. Again, the hands working together provide the final key. The club is held firm in the left hand while the right hand pours on the power. The firm left hand enables the club face to stay slightly open through the hitting zone, imparting the left to right spin on the ball. The back of the left hand in this firm position continues on to hit toward the intended target.
The earth shakes, the spectators tremble, and the foursome on the green nervously look back at the tee. Well, these are sure signs that a golf ball is about to be placed in orbit by the big bomber of the game, George Bayer.
I won't deny that my size and strength enable me to hit the long ball. However, there is a simple trick the pros use, and so can you, to get extra distance. So let's go over to the Golden Tee, and I'll demonstrate what I mean. I use the conventional Varden grip without any variations. The club is held firmly, but not with what we call the death grip. Tension destroys all chances of getting distance. I waggle a lot because I try to be very deliberate when I'm driving for distance. Julie Boras claims he gets his suntan while waiting for me to hit just one drive. Now here, at the top of my normal backswing, is the secret to extra distance. I turn my shoulders slightly more than my hips, and more than I usually do. This action stretches the back muscles, and it's like winding a giant spring tight before uncoiling. But remember this, if the hips move to the same extent as the shoulders, you will lose this coiling action. The shoulders turn more than the hips. Now, let's hit a few. This fairway is wide open. I can afford to sacrifice accuracy for distance. We've set up that marker indicating 300 yards, and the caddy is standing by the marker. We'll be able to judge the distance of the drives by the caddy moving forward or backward.
On this particular hole, there's a dry creek or barranca 60 yards beyond the marker. You can see the small crossway bridge on the right. Now, if a ball in the barranca is unplayable, the lift-out penalty is 1 stroke. Well, George lucks out. The ball stopped just short of the road in front of the barranca, about 338 yards. This is a marvelous accuracy shot. Jimmy Harris, the caddy, takes 2 steps forward, 298 yards. George pulls this drive, but the ball lands in bounds. Well, that's a nice way to miss him, 290 yards. Watch Jimmy run almost straight back to the marker. Incidentally, that figure you see in the center of the fairway is a cameraman taking the close-up shots of Jimmy chasing the drives. This drive was a carbon copy of the first hit. Again, the ball stops just short of the roadway. We're going to give George 330, 335. Now, in a tournament, this drive might have cost George a stroke. Watch closely and you'll see Jimmy pick up the ball while it's still rolling. Now, had it reached the road a yard or 2 away, it would have skidded into the barranca. We're going to shortchange George on that one and mark him 345. George here is a little upset. Not a single drive went more than 345 yards. Sorry, George, no mulligans. You know, fans, George can hit the ball 250 yards without taking a deep breath. But that big extra turn, turning his shoulders more than his hips, is the factor that gives him the extra distance when he needs it. The word for Bolt is beautiful, and not a few of the pros think that the classic finish of his swing is virtually in a class by itself. Just look at that finish.
Let's talk for a moment about driving for accuracy. And this particular hole demands an accurate tee shot. The tree to the right is the first obstacle. Its branches are too low to risk driving under them. If I try to fade around the tree, I'm likely to end up in more trees to the right. And a very bad slide could go out of bounds. On the other hand, if I hook or even draw the ball a little too much, I'm a cinch to be in the forest of tall trees to the left. And to add spice to the picture, there's a sand trap with a high bank about 200 yards out, just in front of our caddy there, to catch a short drive. Now, this hole isn't long. I could hit an iron short of the trap, then hit another to the green with a good chance for a par. But if I can hit a fairly straight drive through the narrow opening and clear the bunker, then I'm within pitching distance of the pin, with a good chance for a birdie and almost a cinch par. In driving for accuracy on a hole like this, I observe 3 simple rules. First, I try to select a specific target to shoot at. I don't just aim at the fairway and hope for the best. In this case, I'll be aiming for the spot where we have stationed the caddy. It's very important to visualize in your mind the drive working toward the selected target. Second, I'll make absolutely certain that my feet, hips, shoulders, and club face are square to the target. Finally, I'll remind myself to keep my backswing smooth and unhurried, working away from the ball in one piece. Not even the pros can be consistently accurate if they hit the drive with everything they've got. Now, with these rules in mind, let's hit 5 or 6 shots in the vicinity of the caddy and see what happens.
This demonstration, fans, was filmed in the early morning, and there were about 10 of us present. All of us were agreed that it was the most remarkable demonstration of accuracy with a driver that we had ever seen. Not once did the caddy, Jimmy Harris, look to his right or left to see where the ball would land. In every single shot, the caddy's head went straight up. Now, these are not long drives for Tommy, maybe 230 to 255. But remember that he's sacrificing distance